the May 2019 election was doubtful. Its veracity and the correctness of the verdict is under question in court, but the net result was that there was a sweeping victory for the BJP. And since May 2019, the Hindu supremacist agenda, the agenda of Hindu Rashtra, has been being fulfilled both legally through laws as well as through various other kinds of means that can be called, in a sense, stealthy, which is, let's say, court judgments and so on, which are not directly by the government, but either the courts have been packed by the government or everyone has learned to toe the line. So the Supreme Court, for example, gave a judgment about Ayodhya, where the Ram temple has been it's claimed as the birthplace of Ram, and that a Ram temple should be built there. And a 400-year-old mosque was demolished, Babri Masjid, in 1992 by the very forces which are in government today. And the Supreme Court, settling that case, accepted that the demolition of the Babri Masjid was illegal and criminal, but nevertheless has asked the government to ensure that a temple be built there, and has asked the government to set up a committee that will ensure the building of a Ram temple in Ayodhya. Now, this is a complete obscenity that the Supreme Court should do this. Also, Article 370 was abrogated immediately after May 2019, one of the first acts of this government, and the abrogation of Article 370, which was a unilateral act by the Indian government, which affects the status of Kashmir, which has international borders and which have territories that are disputed, has essentially led now to the conflict with China, which is ongoing. Now, legally, the government passed the Constitutional Amendment Act in December 2019, which is part of a series of moves which are planned. The National Population Register and the National Register of Citizens, that is the CAA, NPR, NRC, is the triad of laws through which Muslims will be disenfranchised, they will be expropriated of their property, they will lose all citizenship rights in this country. The NPR and NRC have not yet been activated, but the CAA has been passed, and there has been a huge months and months of militant, non-violent protests, very colorful, very creative, very steadfast, 24-hour sit-ins by women mainly all over the country, and not only Muslims, but led by Muslims, and all kinds of Indian citizens have opposed the CAA. And so since December really until COVID, India was in a ferment with all these protests. But once the lockdown was declared, we are living under a political emergency. Hundreds of arrests have taken place of people who were active in these protests, and supposedly they have been arrested for the violence, the anti-Muslim pogrom that took place in Delhi, February 2020. The forces behind that violence, newspaper reports make it clear, are so-called outsiders, and outsiders usually means that these are planned pogroms, and they're planned by Hindu supremacist organizations. Everything was in place. There's a BJP, a politician who openly gave a call to dismantle the protests and to attack Muslims. In spite of all that, what we find, and large number of Muslims died, mostly Muslims died in that violence, and mostly Muslim property was destroyed in that violence. But of the hundreds and hundreds of, close to thousands of people who have been arrested, most of them are Muslims, most of them are students and journalists and activists. There's a pregnant doctoral student who has not been given bail. These are young but not all young people who have protested the sabotaging of the Indian Constitution, and who have objected to the CAA. So they are using this lockdown, this government is using this lockdown to act as a political emergency and to suppress all voices of dissent. And in the middle of this, they want us to celebrate Yoga Day, which is another obscenity because, yoga is a good practice. I perform yoga myself. It is a good practice, but the claim that it is exclusively Hindu, the Hinduizing of yoga, which the way it is performed today is a modern practice. It's a practice that developed in the 19th century. It is supposed to have its roots in a text called the Patanjali Sutras, but that text is not actually available to us. There are references to it, and the meditative and physical aspects of yoga have drawn from many cultures. This has been established by scholarship. So there's nothing wrong with yoga, but the obscenity lies in this government which has compromised the internal security of our country in terms of the security of people, the way in which migrant labor was thrown out on the roads to walk home after the lockdown was declared with 4 hours notice, and the callousness with which they were treated, the number of workers who died on their way back to their home states. It's appalling. One lacks words to talk about how cruel this government has been. And in the middle of all this, in the middle of this political emergency where our people are being arrested, where the preamble to the Constitution is being violated, where people are dying of starvation and of COVID because they have not spent the resources that they need to fight COVID properly. The only places in which some good work is being done is where there are non-BJP governments, and those governments are constantly being held back and harassed by the central government. Under these circumstances, to talk about yoga is nothing short of travesty of democracy. But you can be sure that the struggle against Hindu supremacism will only grow. It's not going to be silenced by these tactics.